I had already made this video once before, but I took it out of the YouTube because of some technical issues. So I'm doing it again and with great happiness because it's a very beautiful story to remember. As I've said in other videos, when I was a very young man, I'm talking when I was 18, I went to live in India for 7 years. My travels and meetings and adventures have been recorded in a few books. So once I was looking for a yogi I wanted to meet called Haripuri. So they told me, look, this yogi, the last time we heard of him, is in a city called Ujjain. Very beautiful city with a great river, and all along the shores of the river there are different monasteries or ashrams. So I went to Ujjain and someone told me, Haripuri, we haven't seen him in a while, but that is the ashram where he used to live, and they pointed it to me. So I went there and I saw in the seat that what is called the Mahant, the head monk, normally occupies, I saw an older man that didn't look from the description of Haripuri. So anyhow, I went to him, I bowed in respect, and I said, I came here particularly looking for Haripuri. And he said to me, no, Haripuri is not here any longer. So I asked him, do you know where he went? And he said, no idea. Later on, it came to me that there had been somehow an inner acrimony, dispute in the monastery, and because of some jealousies, they had asked him to leave. So I asked then the head monk, could I stay here in the monastery for a little while? I've just arrived in Ujjain. And he said, sorry, I have no place. Knowing that I was somehow fond of Haripuri, he don't think he wanted me to be there. So I said, okay, never mind. So I went to the river, into the shores of the river, and I was walking down and trying the place where lie down my blanket and stay there for a couple of nights or so. So I found a little further down there was a kind of an arch where people could sit and even sleep if they wanted to, and repair themselves from excessive sun, rain and so forth. So when I got close to it, I saw that there were beggars in there and that there were some people with leprosy. But at the time I knew that unless I touched them with a wound in my hand and so forth, it would have been very difficult to catch it. So I just said to myself, don't worry, and I found a place and I somehow camped there. Now, at the time I had very, very little money left, and I wasn't in the mood to do what monks, sadhus, as I was one of them at the time, used to do, which was to beg for their food. So I sat there, but I entered a very, very beautiful state of meditation. I'm very relaxed. I was just there and really enjoying watching the river go by. It all smelled beautiful, and the birds and the sands and so forth. Now, by my second day, besides drinking some water, I hadn't eaten anything. And suddenly, one of the beggars, an elderly man, but very noble looking, came towards me and said in a respectful manner, Babaji, that's something that often people call sadhus or wandering yogis, monks, whatever. I have noticed that you have not eaten for the past 2 days. And I said, yeah, that's true, but don't worry, I'm not feeling that hungry. So he said, no, sorry, please allow me. And he opened a cloth, and in it there were some chapatis, and I still remember some vegetable sabji made with spinach. So he said to me, please, he really requested, eat it because I have eaten already and this was just left over. So I said okay, and I enjoyed it. It really tasted nice, the atmosphere, very natural food cooked by someone near the area. A lot of the vegetables grew wild, so they tasted of the earth. So it was really nice. So we spoke a little bit after that, and then he said, Baba, do me please a favor. As long as I am here, in this same place as you are, promise me that you will not go a single day hungry, because I will make sure every day I bring a little bit of extra chapatis and sabji and rice and lentils, and we eat together. Wasn't that beautiful? Very, very touching. A man who had nothing, who was basically living in a leper colony in the open, and just all he had was the food he could bag on each day. Yet he had the generosity of someone who was really wealthy. And actually he was. Because with that kind of life, when you live kind of in the wilderness sort of thing, and you know that you'll have enough food, that you have an arch or a tree somewhere you can sleep in, and that happiness doesn't come from what you have, but from what you are within yourself, then you feel yourself as quite a wealthy man. And that was a love given with no expectations of anything in return. So anyhow, the day after I left, I bowed to him, I said thanks, and later on, I found some wealthy people who invited me to their place, and they offered to pay me to learn French. I'm Italian, but I speak French fairly well. And, I started making some money while I was there. And then it was my joy to go to that place and to give money and food to the people who had been so kind to me, particularly to that person. And it was all that happened there. There was nothing, I'm going to do this to go to heaven, or because it's done, because it's the right thing to do. No, it's just because that's how your heart vibrates. There are times where your heart opens and love flows. I'm glad you have listened to this story. Hope it'll be of some use to you. At least I hope it brought a smile on your face, like it brought to mine talking about it. And thank you. See you again.